Okay, students, wanted to talk a little bit about different types of locomotors in the mobile robot or robotic vehicle category. Here are just some examples: race car, a skid-steered or bulldozer type tracked vehicle, wheelchair, and here's our Omnivare, which you've seen in lab. Let me first talk about this race car, which is basically like other cars, and it's what we refer to as an Ackermann-steered vehicle, okay? And what that means is we've got two fixed wheels in the back, two changeable wheels in front, and that is what Ackermann's mechanism, right, is why we call it an Ackermann-steered vehicle. And you can see this is actually what our rally cars are going to be using. And you can see that from the diagram that the two wheels actually have to turn at different angles, and that's what the Ackermann mechanism does. And you can see then as a result that all four wheels follow a different radii. And so there are four different radii the wheels go through. So the rear wheels do not follow the track of the front wheels. And in fact, you can see from this mechanism, the Ackermann mechanism, the Ackermann steering mechanism is not a parallelogram. That would cause the wheels to move in the same at the same angle. And you can see here, it's actually more of a trapezoidal thing. And so that's what Ackermann steering is and how it works. It's keeping those wheels so everything hits the right radii. It is not the same thing as a Conestoga wagon, that you can see here, right? And what those do is there's a single point where the entire axle rotates. So it actually looks a lot like the rear axle. So again, a Conestoga wagon or a radio flyer wagon, these are not that have where the entire axle pivots. Those are not Ackermann steered vehicles either. Now we have this other category. The bulldozer or tank tread like robots are part of skid steered, what we call skid steering. There are no separate steering wheels and no axle that's rotating. They're all fixed. So it's a very simple mechanism. Can be wheels, as the banana split buggies there show, can be tracks or treads, as the military robot there is showing. But in both cases, there are basically there's right side and left side. And if you want to steer, you do it by just driving faster on the right side, and that'll steer you left. And again, differential. And you can, in fact, spin in place. So this is a category of omnidirectional robots because you can rotate in place and then take off in a different direction for a skid-steered robot. Now, omnidirectional robots, like our wheelchair or like the Roomba, are similar. Often they'll have some sort of a caster wheel. You can see in the wheelchair, there's a powered caster wheel. And that's what, in fact, it moves differentially. So if you go forward, if you push both wheels forward in your wheelchair, it's going to go straight forward. If you pull, the left wheel backwards and the right wheel forwards, right, you're going to rotate in place. They are not capable, much like the Ackermann steered vehicles. Our cars can't slide sideways. The wheelchair can't slide sideways. But it is omnidirectional because it can rotate and then go in any direction. Roomba is the same way. And it actually just uses a ball for a caster. And notice the caster here is passive. Both the wheel is passive, it doesn't have a motor, and the axle that rotates the caster is passive. So there are no motors involved in this, no actuation on either this axis or this horizontal axis of that wheel. They just passively follow. By the way, that means when you steer at an arc, the wheels will follow the right different radii, but they're doing that passively. So there's one more category of robots we have to talk about, which is the holonomic robots. A holonomic robot can go any direction instantaneously. And humans are holonomic. I can just take off to the side. I can move sideways. I can sidestep. I can spin in place. I can spin around. This robot, the mechanism wheels can do that, but also our Omnivares are a very unique case of they use casters, but they're powered casters. And in fact, each caster has 2 degrees of freedom. So in our Omnivores, which have 4 powered casters, there are actually 8 motors, way overkill. But what this does is because you're able to control the power around the caster axle, that allows you to exert forces sideways. That's why the robot can move instantaneously sideways. And then it also has a powered wheel, which allows it to go forward along the wheel direction. So it can go both longitudinally and laterally instantaneously. And all 4 of the wheels are that way. So in fact, it can move instantaneously. So here you can see the video. This is the Omnivore. Again, it can instantaneously go any direction. It can rotate. It can go off on curves. And here are the covers off. You can see these casters. Now remember, they're offset. So the axle for the wheel is offset from the rotary caster. Now this is the mechanism wheel. And again, this can go sideways also. It also is not only omnidirectional, but holonomic. Here's what the mechanism wheels look like. In order to go straight, notice they're counter aligned, that you can go straight by going forwards. You counter twist the wheels and it goes sideways either direction. And of course, you can make the robot rotate in place. And the mechanism wheels have been used in industrial environments, in robots, and even in wheelchairs.